What's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the magic card Samut, Vizier of Naktamun. This is from the March of the Machines Aftermath set. And without further ado, let's get started. So like with most of my cards that I do and most of my illustrations in general, I start out with thumbnails. I do anywhere from 3 to 5, whittle them down, and then I take the ones I like into Photoshop to clean them up, res them up a little bit. And these are the 3 that I sent off to Magic. They went with A, which was my favorite of the 3, so very happy with that. And with the sketch selected, I go and do a preliminary drawing. This was done in pencil and in chalk. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I switched from doing digital preliminary drawings to doing traditional ones to help me get back into draftsmanship and to enjoy the drawing process once again. So I then take this drawing, I make a printout, and like with the other painting, the Tyvar painting, I got a printout of this drawing and then mounted it to canvas. And with that, we're straight to painting. So I start the painting. I always start my paintings by doing what they call a imprimatura, which is pretty much just a brown wash to cover up the white. And once that's down, I usually let it set for a day. Sometimes if I'm in a crunch, I'll actually let it set for a couple hours, 2-3 hours, and then start painting on top, which is I believe what I did here. And as you see, I start with the background, with the sky. Because of time constraints, I tried to do everything in one session, so get the whole sky in and pretty much get it as finished as humanly possible, and working from background up to foreground, or at least as closely as I can. Sometimes I deviate from this, especially more recently. It's just based off of how I feel that day. Some days I go purely background to foreground. Other days I might actually start with the main figure and then do everything else around it and then radiate from the main figure. So it just depends. As you can tell, I try to keep the background elements pretty subtle. I don't want them to compete with the main figure, which is why they're more closely associated with the sky than they are with the figure, as you're gonna see later on. And I wanted to establish the ground that she's going to be interacting with, just to have a nice footing in order to work off of, to help key around her. And it was a little bit of a challenge for me, because sometimes I have a tendency to key things incorrectly. So I started with the background and then work my way to the foreground to see if I can keep my values in check, and then hit the figure with full value. And you can see with the palm trees, the value contrast is starting to ramp up. And one of the things, or at least the concepts of the magic piece itself, the description said that she had come to a stop from running. Now, what I was told was that, you know, she's a really fast character. She has super speed. So I had to show that she had stopped running. And so one of the challenge for that was to portray a fast character who is not moving. And the solution I came up with was to make the environment around her exhibit those traits of speed or some kind of fast effect. Most of the time I implement like motion blur or something like that, but you know, in this case, debris flying, you can see the leaves of the palm trees, even a bit of the palm trees in the foreground are leaning a little bit to show that there is a huge gust of wind associated with her. And on the ground, you can see, you know, smoke. You can see like a burn skid mark on the ground, the crumpled dirt on her heels in front of her foot, you know, to show that she's dug her feet into the ground in order to stop herself. You know, it showed me, doing this painting showed me that, you know, you can portray a character's powers without them actively demonstrating them. You know, you could use environmental storytelling just as effectively as the storytelling, direct storytelling from that character themselves. So now I started on the figure. I usually like to start with the skin most of the time. I honestly not sure why. I think it's I enjoy painting the figure in and of itself, so I enjoy painting skin. And I think I usually add a bit more complexity when I paint skin, so it gets me in the right mind frame to start out with. Although it is interesting that I started with the legs this time. Most of the time when I work on a figure, I work on the face first. I'm not sure why I started with the legs this particular time, but you know, I guess that's just part of the artist's mystery. Sometimes we don't even know why we do the things that we do. I really enjoyed painting her costume. It's a lot of shiny, a lot of metal alloys associated with her costume. So it was really fun to paint the contrast between the cloth, the metal, and her skin. You know, all those different materials kind of feed off of each other and play with each other. It show a bit of contrast, not just with value, but also with materials. So here I finally started painting the face. This went by fairly smoothly. It wasn't really, didn't run into any hiccups or any major issues, which is always very nice because sometimes painting faces can be very trying, very laborious. So it was a nice change of pace to go in, start painting the face, refine it, and then move on to the next thing. You can see there, even the earring, the way that it's positioned, also feeds into the motion aspect of the character. And just have the hands left to do. Hands are always something I always enjoy painting. And that's the painting. As you can see, I added the lightning after the fact. I believe it was in Photoshop first, and then I went back in and painted it. But I appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video. Be sure to give it a like, thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.